Larry Hogan for governor, because even fellow Democrats know Ben Jealous is too extreme for Maryland.
Tonight, the Halloween storms, the reported tornado, another tornado watch just up tonight. Images of the twister now coming in with tornado watches across 4 states at this hour. And dangerous storms from this system from Texas all the way up to Ohio and moving east. Rob Marciano standing by with the track tonight. 6 days until the crucial midterms, President Trump taking off tonight. 11 campaign stops and doubling down tonight on his claim that he can end birthright citizenship regardless of what some are saying about the Constitution. The deadly school bus tragedy, 3 children from the same family killed, and tonight, what we've now learned about the 24-year-old driver of the pickup truck. She said she had 3 kids riding with her, and what she's now saying. Chilling new details from inside the Whitey Bulger murder tonight. Who killed him and how did they do it inside that prison, including the padlock inside a sock. The gruesome discovery in New York City. 2 sisters bound together with duct tape, discovered in the Hudson River. Authorities believe they were alive when they entered the water. The collision at the dock, the passenger ferry taking down a crane, setting the dock on fire. And America Strong tonight, going above and beyond on this Halloween.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Wednesday night. We have a lot of news to get to, but we do begin with the urgent scene playing out on this Halloween night when millions of families head out. In the South right now, a tornado touching down and tornado watches up across several states as we come on the air. It's all part of a system stretching from Texas to Ohio tonight. Torrential rain flooding Houston streets, fierce winds flipping this car. And as I mentioned just a short time ago, this tornado in Eagle Lake, Texas. Those dangerous storms stretching up through the Great Lakes and moving east tonight. Meteorologist Rob Marciano has the track for this night ahead. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. A dynamic situation unfolding in Houston. Already 2 reported tornadoes in that area, so let's get right to it. A couple of lines of severe weather, one rolling across I-10, and another one getting into the Little Rock area where they just posted an additional tornado watch. That's up until midnight. The one across East Texas, that includes Beaumont, Port Arthur, and Orange, Texas, that's until 10 o'clock. Then we've got flood watches up north of Paducah and through western New York, so the northern part of the system has a fair amount of rain. Tomorrow, the strongest storms roll along I-10 and through New Orleans, Mobile, Birmingham, and through Atlanta a little bit, and then it goes north, and we look for the rain to hold off. It looks like until Friday, but 2, 3, 4 inches of rainfall potential from D.C., New York, and Boston. Dry and mild, at least tonight, here until then. David?
All right, Rob Marciano leading us off tonight. Rob, thank you. Meantime, tonight, the countdown is on. The crucial midterms. Late today, the president landing in Florida and beforehand doubling down, saying he can get rid of birthright citizenship regardless of what some in his own party are now saying about the Constitution. Our Mary Bruce today asking the president, is he using fear when it comes to immigration on the eve of the midterms? Mary tonight on the state of the race with just 6 days to go.
Heading out to make his final push, President Trump is ramping up his polarizing rhetoric on immigration, now ordering a massive troop surge to the border.
Mr. President, what do you say to your critics who say you're fear-mongering on immigration?
No, not fear-mongering at all. Immigration is a very important subject. As far as the caravan is concerned, our military is out. We have about 5,008. We'll go up to anywhere between 10 and 15,000 military personnel.
Up to 15,000 military personnel, that's roughly the same number of troops serving in Afghanistan, 3 times the number deployed to Iraq. And that caravan of migrants fleeing poverty and violence tonight, still some 900 miles from the U.S. border. Still, in states the president won, some Democrats in tight races like Missouri Senator Claire McCaskill tell me they embrace the president's tough line.
Well, I think the president needs to use every tool at his disposal to make sure the border is not overrun.
Today, the president also doubling down on his pledge to do away with the right of citizenship for any baby born in the United States.
I'd rather do it through Congress because that's permanent, but we can certainly do it through, I really believe we can do it through executive order.
Most legal experts and even Republican House Speaker Paul Ryan say that's unconstitutional. And in one red state on the border, Texas Democratic Senate candidate Beto O'Rourke calls the president's immigration push pure politics.
He tries to stoke paranoia and fear about a group of migrants who are still hundreds of miles, weeks away from the U.S.-Mexico border, if they even make it this far. I think he's trying to play upon the worst impulses of this country.
So let's bring in Mary live from the White House tonight. Mary, President Trump tonight insisting he can end birthright citizenship. He'd prefer it, he said, to do it through Congress, but he said he could do it with an executive order. And Republicans who are running across the country, they're being put in a tough spot tonight because many are being asked if they agree with him.
Yeah, David, well, you saw us there with Claire McCaskill. We also spoke last week with her Republican opponent, Josh Hawley. And today he's trying to walk a fine line. Pressed on this issue, he declined to say whether he agrees with the president on ending birthright citizenship, but he did say that the Constitution cannot be changed by executive order. David.
Mary Bruce live at the White House tonight. Mary, thank you, and we hope you'll be right here on election night. I'll be joining George and our powerhouse political team starting at 8 p.m. Eastern right here next Tuesday night. It's going to be a big night. In the meantime, there is new reporting tonight after that deadly and horrific school bus accident in Indiana. A young woman, 24, in a pickup truck, hitting 4 children, killing 3 members of the same family. Tonight, new images of a witness walking up to the scene right afterward, and we now know what the driver of the truck is now saying. We do know she had 3 children in the car with her. ABC's Alex Perez is right there again tonight.
Tonight, our first look at those chaotic moments in Rochester, Indiana. First responders on the scene, the hood of the pickup that hit the children mangled.
I knew it. I knew I heard the school bus.
Horrified neighbors rushing outside after hearing the crash that killed twin brothers Xavier and Mason Engel and their sister Olivia while walking to their school bus. The driver of that pickup truck, Alyssa Shepard, charged with 3 counts of reckless homicide. She told investigators she doesn't normally take this road. She had 3 kids in the back seat and saw flashing lights, but by the time she realized it was a school bus, it was too late. Tonight, growing questions about the safety of that bus stop. The siblings' uncle says the family had contacted the district in the past about moving the stop away from the road.
There's plenty of room for a school bus to pull in here to pick up these kids instead of asking them to walk across the highway with people doing 50, 60 miles an hour.
The children were crossing this busy road where the speed limit on this stretch is 45 miles per hour. A 2018 national survey of school bus drivers found that on a single day, nearly 84,000 vehicles passed their buses illegally. Just today, in Lee County, Mississippi, another child struck and injured while getting on the bus.
David, school officials announced they will be moving that bus stop. Instead of stopping on this busy road, it will now wind its way through the side streets of this neighborhood. David?
Alex Perez with us again tonight. Alex, thank you. And we're learning more about who authorities believe killed notorious crime boss Whitey Bulger behind bars and how it was done. He was serving life in prison after 16 years on the run and had just been transferred to a new prison. Tonight, the fellow inmate who allegedly used a padlock inside a sock. ABC's Gio Benitez from Boston now.
Tonight, that key question, did notorious Boston mobster Whitey Bulger get whacked behind bars? Just 24 hours after being transferred to a new prison in West Virginia, he was found severely beaten, according to the New York Times. Officials telling the Times he was attacked with a padlock stuffed inside a sock.
And you're going to be responding to the maximum security. They advise CPR in progress.
One of the key suspects in the killing, mob hitman Freddie Gias, who was serving a life sentence at that West Virginia prison for the murder of another member of a crime family. A former prosecutor telling the Boston Globe Freddie hated rats. Bulger was known as a so-called snitch, believed to have been an FBI informant who provided information about his rivals. He was also responsible for at least 11 murders, spending 16 years on the run with his girlfriend until their capture in 2011 in Santa Monica. Bulger's attorney now pointing the finger at the Federal Bureau of Prisons, saying they turned a life sentence into a death sentence. One of the victims of Bulger's gang, Deborah Davis, killed when she was just 26. Her brother Stephen speaking with us tonight.
Do you feel at peace now with his death?
Very much so. He's where he belongs, in the dirt, where we put a lot of other people.
All right, Gio Benitez with us live tonight from Boston. Gio, as you reported there, he was transferred to that new prison less than 24 hours before the murder. Do we know why he was transferred?
Well, David, sources say that he was moved there because of medical reasons, but now investigators really want to know tonight how he could have ended up dead almost immediately after walking into that prison. David.
Gio, thank you. We're going to turn to the investigation into a gruesome discovery here in New York City. The bodies of 2 sisters from Virginia were found floating in the Hudson River. Investigators say they were found together with duct tape. They'd been bound together and were alive when they originally went into the water. They were from Saudi Arabia originally, and here's ABC's David Wright tonight.
Tonight, a mystery on the Hudson. 2 bodies recovered a week ago, bound together at the wrists and ankles with duct tape.
The
Police now believe they were alive when they entered the river.
We've made significant progress in piecing together pieces of this puzzle.
The NYPD has positively identified the victims and released these photos. 16-year-old Tala Faria and 22-year-old Rotana Faria, Saudi nationals who've been living in Fairfax, Virginia. There are reports the sisters had asked for asylum and that the Saudi government had ordered the whole family to return home, a detail the Saudis deny. Police are treating the deaths as suspicious, but say it's too early to call it murder. Investigators haven't yet ruled out the possibility it was a suicide or an accident. This is where the bodies were found, and investigators say they have a pretty good idea where they may have entered the water. Authorities now canvassing this area, looking for witnesses or video that may help solve the mystery. David?
David Wright tonight, thank you. There are new details tonight about the murder of Washington Post writer Jamal Khashoggi. A Turkish prosecutor now says he believes that Khashoggi was strangled and dismembered soon after he entered that Saudi consulate in Istanbul. Turkish officials also saying that a visit from Saudi Arabia's top prosecutor yielded no, quote, concrete results. And there are new developments into the new Boeing jet that crashed right into the ocean. Investigators are now hearing pings that could lead them to the black boxes of that Lion Air jet and possible clues about why the brand new plane plunged into the sea. ABC's Bob Woodruff tonight reporting from Jakarta.
Tonight, Indonesian investigators are hoping pings detected at sea could help lead them to the most crucial element needed for their investigation, the black box. Divers already bringing back shiploads of debris and also body bags, identifying the first victim, a 24-year-old woman, one of the 189 on Lion Air Flight 610. This video given to ABC showing passengers boarding an hour before the tragedy. One man showing us this photo. He is on the left, but took a different flight. Those three in the middle feared lost. The Boeing 737 MAX 8, which plunged 13 minutes after takeoff, was in service for only 2 months. Lion Air claims a mechanical issue the day before the accident was resolved.
Now, authorities appear to be ruling out terrorism, leaning towards technical failure. But with these types of aircrafts in use in the United States, the race is on to find out what brought down that plane after it left this airport. David?
Bob Woodruff from Jakarta. Bob, thank you. And back here at home and from Pittsburgh tonight, a federal grand jury has now indicted the suspect in the synagogue massacre. Robert Bowers is now facing 44 counts, including hate crimes. Prosecutors plan to seek the death penalty. It came as 3 more of the 11 victims were laid to rest, and there were long lines today waiting to pay respects to the families of Joyce Feinberg, Melvin Wax, and Irving Younger. Next tonight here, Megyn Kelly's exit from NBC is now playing out in public. Her show was canceled after her remarks about blackface and what her lawyer is now saying. Here's ABC's Eva Pilgrim.
Just days ago, NBC axed her talk show. Now Megyn Kelly is fighting back after reports she was demanding millions to stay quiet. Her attorney today blasting the network for not refuting what he calls false media reports that she was asking for more than the estimated $34 million left on her contract. Kelly's show canceled after she shared her views about blackface.
What is racist? Because truly, you do get in trouble if you are a white person who puts on blackface on Halloween, or a black person who puts on whiteface for Halloween. Like, back when I was a kid, that was okay as long as you were dressing up as like a character.
Her Today co-host quickly speaking out.
While she apologized to the staff, she owes a bigger apology to folks of color around the country.
And now a group of high school students from Kelly's old school are calling her out in an op-ed published by NBC News. We weren't alive when Megyn was in high school, but in the recollection of many of our parents who grew up around here, it was not acceptable even in the 1980s town that she knew. At Fox News, Kelly had a history of racially charged remarks.
For all you kids watching at home, Santa just is white. Jesus was a white man, too.
NBC executives were very aware of her history, and they decided to risk it, and now it's blown up.
NBC News Tonight responding to Kelly's complaint, saying we respect the confidentiality of the process and will have no comment until it reaches its conclusion. David?
All right, Eva, thank you. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Wednesday. In fact, we have 2 notes on the economy before we get there. Can we go back to the economy here if we could? The largest wages rising 2.9% in the past year, the largest increase in a decade, but just slightly ahead of inflation. The U.S. Treasury also announcing, though, it will sell a record 83